everybody. Welcome to the Canine Connection Podcast. Today, Laurie and I are going to talk about mistakes because I think this is becoming like a really hot topic, controversial. And I think it's, I don't know, sometimes swinging too far in, my opinion, the wrong direction.
Mm,
I think the first and foremost, we need to talk about reality. We, as humans, we make mistakes
a
all
lot.
the time. Like, I know that I make mistakes. I made a mistake at the seminar. I said, "Oh, I think your dog, this is the problem." And then I went, "No, that's not the problem." Do
Yep,
I care that I made a mistake? No. I said I made him, "Oh, nope, I was wrong. Okay, let's try again. Let's
yep,
try more things to get to the root of the problem." I
right.
make mistakes in life. I've, messed up my days, messed up appointments, like
Yeah,
messed up all kinds of things. And for sure, I make mistakes in training. When I'm learning something new, I make mistakes. So like love learning new things because it reminds me in real time, it refreshes the whole learning process. And
right,
I have never in my life, and I've learned a lot of different things, learned a new thing without making mistakes. I just
same.
haven't. And it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't get upset about it. I don't freak out about it because I understand that mistakes are just part of life.
Right,
And they're for sure part of the learning process. And then a lot of times it's very valuable information. So, like, a perfect example was agility. I can mimic people, I can mimic motor patterns. So, if the instructor, shows me how to handle a section, right? If she demonstrates it, I can execute it perfectly. Does that mean I learned it? No, I mimicked,
right,
right? Ask me then. So then I would say, don't show me how to do it because that's a waste of time because I'm not learning from that. Let
right,
me try and figure it out. And so what would happen is in my mind, I'm sending my dog forward, let's say, and my dog goes left. The second the dog goes left, in that moment, I freeze and I go, "Oh, I know why he's going left because my arm is saying go forward, but my feet are pointing left." Got it. On the next step, I line my feet up correctly and my dog goes straight. So that error was incredibly valuable information to me. I was like, "Oh, that was perfect that that happened because now I understand what I did wrong. Now I can fix it, and now I retain that information."
right.
So that
Uh,
mistake was incredibly positive in my mind.
right. Yeah, and I'm the same way. Like I used to not handle mistakes well. Like that the reality is like I didn't like mistakes and I always felt it was a reflection on my intelligence or my capabilities of doing things, which I think is pretty common with a lot of people, right? Their
Mhm.
relationship with
Yes.
mistakes. Also growing up. I know both of us grew up in really like households that had super high expectations and standards put on us. We're both like we came from competitive sports and all that stuff. So that made mistakes like not really,
Terrible.
yeah, they were uncomfortable and not, I don't know, like if you made a mistake, you were judged, or I don't know. I judged myself. I was super hard on myself.
Well, but
And
also, so the key here is because mistakes, though, were treated in a negative way, right? So, for example, like in my household, like if I breathed wrong, I was in trouble, right?
right,
So,
right,
therefore, a mistake has bad consequences. It has negative consequences.
right.
So therefore, mistakes now in my mind, until I figured it out,
Same.
are bad.
Right. There's a bad relationship with them. Yeah. So that was hard for me. Like, that's hard for a lot of people, because you hear people, they'll be like, "Oh, but I feel so stupid," like
Mhm.
that's so common.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
what's important is people need to recognize that they're doing that, right? Because my students do that all the time, and I'm always like, "You know what? No. Like, you need to get over that." Like,
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
dog training. Like, it's just and I think once people understand, "Oh, I get it. I am pairing negative emotions with the mistake
Right.
because of whatever reason, doesn't matter why. I don't need to do that." Then they can change the narrative, right?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can learn you can teach yourself that a mistake is not a bad thing. Like,
Right.
a mistake is just a mistake, right? And a mistake, at times, it just is what it is. And at times, it can be a positive.
It can, and it also can be like, if it's a repetitive mistake, then that's gonna make you, like, halt and be like, "All right, something needs to change." Like, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
that's gonna make you, like, be like, reevaluate, right?
Yeah,
This
it's
isn't working.
information.
Yeah, it's information. Like, that's on the human side, but then the big thing I see is dogs making mistakes, and everybody has a fucking heart attack that the dog made a mistake.
Right, because I think I think it occurs for a number of reasons. I think, one, a lot of times when a mistake I think one thing is there's this perception, right, that dogs shouldn't make mistakes, like, if we're good enough trainers or if everything's
Yeah,
good, like,
yeah.
everything should just be good, like, everything in the world and in life and in training, it should just all be good, and I
Mhm.
should just show my dog what to do, and my dog should just learn it, and then we should progress, and then that's how it should be, and if it doesn't
Right,
go that way, then something's terribly wrong. Either
right.
I, as a trainer, I'm a terrible trainer, or
Yeah,
the dog's just not listening, blah, blah, blah. And then we have this thing in our heads that it's the whole thing is a negative, it's a failure because everybody else out in the universe is not having these problems.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I like, a big one is, like, if you go to a match. A big one's, I go to a match, I'm in the ring, and my dog makes a mistake. I can hear everybody go,
I
or they're like,
know.
your dog just did that, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." Like, who cares? Like, he made a mistake. Like, it's not the end of the world. I see it. I'm gonna fix it. It's not a big deal. They're allowed to make mistakes for whatever reason they made the mistake, but that's how it's perceived. It's like, "Holy hell, the fucking world's freezing over. The dog made a mistake."
I know. I think that zest, leave it. I think that A, as a human, as the trainer, you need to reframe your relationship with errors, right?
Mhm.
You need to say that they just are what they are. They're information, right? Because really, that's what they are. They're
Totally.
information. The
Yes.
dog doesn't understand it, or the dog is confused, or something's going on.
Right.
Okay, it's just information. It
Right.
means you need to do something different, or maybe the dog's just puzzling it out. Let him puzzle it out, for God's sakes. Like, stop
Right.
managing. Like, it creeps me out because I was micromanaged, right? So I know what that feels like. It's annoying. Like,
Yeah.
you never get to do anything on your own because as
Yeah.
soon as you're like, "Oh, no, 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 don't do it like that. Oh, no, here, let me help you. Oh, let me fix it. Oh, holy Hannah, let me make a mistake." And then I'll go, "Oh, that didn't work. Let me try it this way. Oh, okay, I figured it out. Guess what? Now I feel really good about myself because I solved the problem. I figured it out."
Yeah.
Right? But you're constantly robbing me of that opportunity because you're like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Don't make a mistake. Oh, you made a mistake. Oh my God, oh my God. Everybody just relax. Everybody just chill out, right?
Yep.
Let the dog make a mistake. Don't
Right.
treat it like it's the end of the world, right? If you don't know what to do when the dog makes a mistake in that moment in time, release the dog and tell them they're good.
Right.
Guess what? You will not ruin your training. But I'll just have told my dog that I'll just have praised or told him that was right and it was wrong. It was wrong. I Oh my God, get over yourself, right? Like, what would happen how would you feel if you made a mistake and someone got on your case about it?
Right.
Like, I had employees that they would, I can think of a specific example. Employee made a mistake, right? It was a pretty big mistake. They knew they made the mistake. They were so upset with themselves. What am I going to gain by saying to this person, you know, you shouldn't have done that? She fucking knows. She's
Right.
already beating herself up over it, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I just said, it's fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I get it. So the next day we sat down as a group and I said, what are things we could do moving forward that would prevent this from happening? Like, let's come up with a productive strategy as a team
Yep.
so that we can do things so this doesn't happen again.
Right.
No blame, no shame, no beating her up. It's a waste of time. It's going to accomplish nothing.
Right.
So everybody was supportive, everybody came up with a plan, and guess what? Knock on wood, that was, like, years ago, and it has not happened again,
Right.
right? And everyone is now hyper motivated to be better
Yep.
instead of being nervous and afraid of
Yep.
making a mistake, which means more than likely you're gonna make a mistake.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's that, you have that weird relationship with mistakes if you're like that, and then you get weird about it and make the mistake.
Right. So a
Nervous,
mistake when you
nervous.
train your dog is information, and I
Yeah.
think there's different types of mistakes, right? Like,
Hmm.
if my dog is in the learning process, like, if my dog is learning
Right.
and it makes a mistake, I'm not gonna be worried about it because maybe I'm just gonna let you muddle through and you actually figure it out on your own.
Right.
And that's brilliant because now you're becoming empowered, right? You're learning to solve the problem. So a simple example is because someone just did this. Um, their dog did the glove exercise and they put a bag of cookies sealed like between the gloves, right? Dog runs out, picks up the glove. She says, good job. The dog drops the glove, which it's allowed to do, and goes over and checks out the cookies in the bag. What should I do? I said, nothing. Like, it did its job, number 1. Number 2, after you released it and went and looked at the bag of cookies, right? Why this bag of cookies here? It's not usually out here when I do gloves. Call the dog. Come on, get over here. I would have laughed if my dog did that, honestly. I would have been like, dude, get over here, leave the cookies alone, right?
Right.
Next rep, dog runs out, gets the glove, comes back, acted like as if it never even saw the cookie bag because it figured it out. Oh, I guess mom just decided to put a bag of cookies in this picture. I said, if you keep putting different items out, your dog's going to ignore them because
Right.
it's going to go, oh, sometimes there's stuff out here. All right, just
Yep.
ignore it, do
Yep.
my task,
Yep.
right? That's it. Not a big deal. No worries. Dog figured it out all on their own. Shocking, right?
Right.
Um, countless examples where when we add some challenges to exercises, the dog will make an error. And I tell the handlers, just don't make a big deal about it. Do another rep. The dog does the next rep perfectly. What does that tell you? The dog learned on its own. It solved the problem.
Right.
Why does that matter? You're creating a dog that's not nervous, that's not worried because it doesn't get in trouble for making mistakes.
Right.
And it's allowed to make mistakes, which makes the dog free, and the dog figures it out. Now the dog's becoming resilient and the dog's gaining confidence because the dog goes, I can solve this problem. So now
Right.
when the dog's competing and it's under pressure or the task is really challenging, instead of the dog melting and freezing and falling apart, the dog's like, "I can solve this problem," and the
Right.
dog can push through.
Yep.
And that's worth its weight in gold because that's
Yeah.
what
That's what we want. And that's what, that's what I'm doing with Salty right now. Like I don't want to micromanage him, and I'm putting him already in like fair, challenging situations. That's what I want to say, how I want to say it. Cause I'm not,
Mhm.
I don't want to scare him. I don't want to over face him, but I'm not, I'm already putting him in like problem solving situations,
Mhm.
letting him work it out, even if he's going to make some mistakes, cause that's what people worry about, like with articles. I don't care if there's shit all over the floor, like the toy, I don't pick it up. Like I'm just doing it a little differently. Like I'm already putting him in with distractions. I'm already putting leaving the toy on the floor, the bag of cookies on the floor, or somebody's like training pretty close by. Like I'm not going to put him in a really sterile situation. I want him to be challenged a little bit, and I want him to learn to problem solve. But people, they've watched me and they're like, oh, but he went out to the toy and he picked it up, and but I'm like, but then he put it down and he came back to the pile and he worked the pile and he brought it in. And I said, yes, like I'm not worried about that stuff. Like I want him to problem solve on what's going to be, what's going to get him the reinforcer. I'm not going to have a heart attack over it. If and that's, I think, what people get worried about. They want to make sure right off the bat, like no matter what, my dog needs to be right. My dog needs to be right.
Right,
Um,
and it needs to do it perfectly, and it's like,
yeah,
"Wait a minute." Um, like, the problem is trial environments are not pristine,
no way.
and so then the dogs get out there and they struggle because they're used to everything being pristine and everything manufactured and
Yeah,
created in a way where they're right all the time or they have instructions all the time. Like at the seminar this weekend, like and this is I get students like that. I can tell immediately. Like their dogs cannot solve a single problem
right.
because they can't shape. They've never been shaped. They've been micromanaged. So when you're trying to teach them something, they just stand there with this blank look on their face because they're like,
Waiting for
I
the
don't
instruction
know.
manual.
Yes, I need instructions. Like
Yeah,
I don't know how to figure this out. Right.
right.
And as soon as they get stuck, they freeze.
Yep,
They literally just stand there and don't move. And then what happens is the owner goes, "See, my dog is stuck. They can't do it." And they immediately go in and help them. So it
yep,
creates this vicious cycle where the dog, the handler becomes an enabler and the
right.
dog develops literally learned helplessness. Like it
Yep.
doesn't know what to do. And that's not good. And usually what happens is I sit there and I go, I create a scenario and I go, wait, 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 wait. And the handler is so uncomfortable. And I'm like, just
They
wait,
are.
wait. And then all of a sudden the dog goes, how about this?
Yep.
And I'm like, yes. And the handler is shocked. Oh, he did it. Yeah. I feel like we're treating the dogs like they're
Like
so
idiots. I know. I know.
like,
And
they're so dumb, like and dude, these dogs are so freaking smart.
they're so smart. They're so smart. And they're like, I feel like dogs, they're opportunists. Like there's an end goal. Like they want the reinforcer. Like they want to get to solve the problem to get to the reinforcer. So let them figure it out. And what's been fascinating with Salty is he's 6 months old now. And since I've been doing this, since he was a puppy, I know more about who he is and who he's
Mhm.
going to be as a dog now, like, than I ever did with Ever and Stormy, like, because I really get to see, like, the raw, like, how he is, how he's gonna handle adversity, how he's gonna handle, like, the challenge, when it gets a little tough, how he handles pressure, how like, I am like, 'cause I'm just it's been absolutely fascinating on what I've learned on who this dog actually is just by letting him, like, freeing him up to solve it, like, letting him make the mistakes, letting him blunder.
Mhm.
It's been
And that's
amazing.
what I do with my puppies is, like, it looks on the surface like I'm teaching them all these quote unquote skills, like competition skills, right? Like
Right,
precursors to competition skills. That's not what like I am, but what I'm
right.
really doing the whole time is I'm shaping a ton and I'm seeing, how does my dog learn? How
Yep,
does my dog handle frustration? Does my dog push through? Does my dog quit? Like, what motivates my dog? What does my dog find challenging? How does my
yeah,
dog handle pressure? How does
what
my dog handle, you know,
yeah, what puts him in
noises?
arousal, like, that's a big one, like, crazy. It's so good.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. And then, like you were saying, my training partner with her dog, she's a little over a year now, but like from the beginning, we're like, look, you train this puppy. Like when we train together, we train adult dogs. Obviously, we have some pretty advanced dogs, right?
Yeah,
So we'll set something up and we'll have, different toys out. Like we have all kinds of shenanigans going on, right? So her puppy just we
does
didn't
it.
pick shit up.
Yep,
We didn't move the crazy loud toy making noise. We just left it out there. If the
yep,
puppy gets up and goes over and checks it out, go check it out. Puppy comes back, keeps working, right? I have a student now in my one class with a super young puppy. She started the class with the puppy at like 8 weeks old, right? I said to her, no, 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 no. You're not training in your house. Bring that dog to class. So she brings the dog to class, right? It's outside the ring. There's stuff going on in the ring. Dog's crated. She sends a dog to the platform. Dog runs to the platform. Dog gets distracted, runs over to the side, goes check something out. She doesn't interfere. She lets it check it out. Dog, all of a sudden, in the middle of checking it out, it's hilarious. Flips its head around and goes, "Oh wait, I was supposed to go to the platform." Runs to the platform and goes, "Look, I went to the platform." She's like, "Yes." Next strap, dog runs to the platform, runs back to her. Problem solved. She
yep,
did not interfere at all. It was fascinating. And the dog's done this now with multiple things. I think she was doing like baby articles. The dog like leaves the pile, goes and I don't even know what it was doing.
yeah, Salty's done this. I'm like,
I don't even
"Bye."
know what the dog's doing. And then all of a sudden, it goes, it like flips his head and goes, "Wait, I was doing articles." And it goes back, finds the right thing. It's not full adult articles. People don't have a cow.
I
It's
know.
a little scent exercise. Finds the
Right,
right
right.
thing. She goes, "Yes." Next rep, runs to the pile, finds the right thing, runs back. This puppy is already showing, and I guarantee you by the time this puppy's like several months old, like it's learning to be resilient. It's
Yep,
learning to solve problems. It's learning to be an independent problem solver. She's learning to just let it figure it out.
right.
Right? My training partner's dog at a year, a little over a year, mind boggling, mind boggling what this dog can do. And it's because of how this dog is being trained.
Yep,
The dog makes a mistake. It doesn't have a meltdown. It's like,
right.
whoopsie, messed
Yep,
that up. Okay. Bounces back immediately, figures it out, does the right thing. Now, am I saying we leave the dog out to dry or we overwhelm the dog? No. Are
correct.
these dogs making 8 mistakes in a row? No.
Right.
Right? We're being good smart about what we're doing. Is exactly like you said, fair challenges, right?
Yep,
Where the dog's not, and if it's too hard, we'll help you out. If you get
yep,
stuck, of course we're going to help you.
right.
But we're letting you be free
Yep,
and we're teaching you to be resilient. And I think that's a gigantic hole in competition training across the board
Yep.
because we've tilted in the direction of making everything so easy and doing so much for the dogs that we're doing them a giant disservice.
Yeah. I also think there's I think part of it might also be that I mean, I'm fairly new. Like I wasn't showing back in, I mean, I've only been doing this for about 9 years now. I feel that in our area, New England, like it is so highly competitive, right?
Mhm.
Like there are times where we're trialing where like you get a 198 and you're not even in the ribbons. Like
Right.
I mean, I don't know how it was back then, but
No, it's been Northeast and I'm not saying it's only the Northeast, but the Northeast is always been
yeah.
extremely
And I
competitive.
feel that the training has tilted to like obtaining perfection right out of the womb.
Like immediately, yeah.
Yeah, like we must get everything perfect before the dog is this old. Like, you know what I mean? I think that
Mhm.
when I first started this, I felt that. I was like, wow, like I was shocked that people were putting dogs in the ring at like a year old. Like, um or just the way they were training, and it was like the dogs, mistakes were like, you don't make mistakes and the dogs need to be set up to be perfect. I was like, that was a big, like, I noticed that a lot. And that's where, like, over the years I've been doing it, I'm just like, I find it, and I know you do too. Like, I love the whole aspect of the training piece of just watching the dogs figure stuff out. Like, I find it fascinating how they puzzle it out, how they get the answer, what behaviors they display like before they actually ever find the answer. I just think the whole thing is freaking incredibly fascinating.
Yeah,
And yeah, just
the
I
whole
don't
perf
know.
the whole perfection thing early it's so true. Like, for example, I have a front and finish class running right now, right? And it's like, this is so common. Like, I shape my fronts, which
Me
means
too.
my dogs are gonna make mistakes, which is fine. I
Yeah.
break it into a million different pieces, and it's like I don't expect my dog to consistently be giving me perfect fronts for literally years.
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so I'm teaching the class, and it's like week 2, and it's like, my dog's not it's still not straight. Dude, it's week 2. Like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Like, oh god, and dog and like step 1, all right, is when I move, the dog should move its hind end, and if it moves its hind end even a little bit, mark and feed. What do people want immediately?
Yeah.
I move, the dog's hind end should be perfectly centered. Like that's that thing you talked about where immediately it should be perfect, right?
Right, right.
No. No, no, no. I explicitly say this piece that we're doing right now, your dog does not need to find center, but people ignore that piece
Mhm.
because they can't get past the it must be perfect right away.
Right. Or I must not be
Holy
doing it
cow,
right.
talk about pressure. What if I said that to you as a trainer?
Right.
Like, what if every mistake you made, I was completely intolerant of? I was like, "No, that's not right.
Right.
No, that's not right." What are like, first of all, let's be real here, people. I tell students the same thing 30,000 fucking times,
Mhm.
and you're still doing it wrong. Are you
Right.
being a jerk? No. You're learning, and it takes a long time to learn these things.
Right.
So, why should it be different for your dog? Why are you so completely intolerant of that in your dog training when you're doing it yourself?
Yep. Yeah. So true. It's so
Like
true.
8,000 times.
I
And
know.
students will say it to me. Oh my God, you've told me this 1,000 times. Why am I still doing it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's
And
hard,
it is
dude.
hard. It is hard. And then like I've got students where like they'll catch themselves. They'll go, "Oh, I did it again." Like it's hard. Like it's gonna take
Yes.
however long it's gonna take.
So why do you have a different expectation for your dog?
I don't know. Like, I'm just like,
With you, I don't know.
I don't know.
Right? That's what people need to think of. Like, I think the dog's experience is actually very similar to our human experience, but we don't connect the two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't think about what this animal is experiencing because, in a lot of things, in a lot of ways, it is actually not very different from us. And if we
Right.
thought like that, I think we would be more patient, tolerant, empathetic, understanding.
Yeah, for sure. I
God,
know.
let him make mistakes, for God's sake. This is what's so funny because you said the match thing, right? I'm in a match. I remember this. Zesty was young, right? And I can't even remember. He did something wrong. And he's like, he moved his foot. I'm like, yep, I know. Yes, good boy. Like, and I reward, like, sometimes I reward mistakes and people really have a meltdown. Then I remember, I don't know, he did something. I, I don't know, I'll make it up. He moved, right? And the quote unquote judge was standing right next to the dog and people were around. It must have happened near the George table. And everyone's like, ah, he moved. And Zessie's like, oh my God, what did I do? And I'm like, and I looked at them, I go, would you stop it? Leave him alone. Like, you're out.
I
And I'm
know.
like, yes, good boy. Don't listen to them. I'm like, you're a puppy. You're allowed to make mistakes. Don't listen to
Yeah.
them. Because he actually was picking up on their, like,
Energy, yeah.
energy of, like, "You're wrong," and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh my god, like, he's a baby, like, leave him
right.
alone, like, I don't care." And then my dogs will make mistakes or I'll make a mistake that causes my dog to make a mistake, and, some people are like, "It doesn't matter if you messed up your halt footwork, if you stop, your dog should sit." That's what they believe. I don't believe that. I take responsibility for my part. I'm a teammate. If I make a mistake, my dog should not pay for that.
Yep.
And people are like, "Oh my god, there she goes again, rewarding her dog for doing the wrong thing." Like, how does she ever get her dogs to do anything? I mean,
Oh my gosh. Oh my
yet
god.
somehow my dogs manage to learn. It's a
And
miracle.
do
But,
very
like, I don't want my dogs, you know, just
Yes.
like I don't want someone beating me up constantly.
Yeah.
Like, my
Yeah.
dogs are trying.
Well, the other thing too, when you think about like that is you know, how you react when the dogs make mistakes. You
Yeah.
got to be careful because you're going to pair that with like a emotional response to mistakes. I have a couple students who've had some history of how mistakes were handled incorrectly with their dogs. And I find that incredibly hard to turn around once those dogs have that kind of relationship with making errors, especially dogs who are more sensitive and care so much,
Mhm.
that you got to watch that a little bit. Because then you can see when the dog does make an error and they know they messed up. Oh my fucking God. Like the poor
They have
dog is
no
like
self.
already
Yeah.
shoveling the hole for itself.
Well, and I think that, like, what I wanna see with my dog, right, is that when my dog makes a mistake and knows they made a mistake, that they go, "Oh, shoot, I messed up," but they're not, like, freaked out. They're not upset about it. Or
Right.
if I say to my dog, like, I say no to Zesty because he needs that. He wants me to say it. So when I don't say no, like, and I didn't say no to him for a really long time just because I got out of the habit of saying no. And all of a sudden, one day, I just kind of said it by accident. I was like, no, buddy, don't do that. Cause I was like, geez, he keeps doing this mistake over and over, session this, but in multiple sessions over weeks. So there's what is happening? So finally I just go, buddy, no, don't do that. And he went, well, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it
Adults
made it
inform are like that.
so clear to him.
Yep.
So to
Yep.
him, the word no means don't do that, do something else. So when
Right.
I say no to him, he does not get upset.
Right.
He goes, "Oh, okay." And then I follow it always by saying, "You're supposed to do this." Right? So if he looks away, I go, "No, leave it up here." He goes, "Oh, okay. Don't look away. Look at you." Got it.
Right. Right.
He's good.
Yep.
Right? Some dogs you can't say no, even if it's neutral, because they're just like Zeal is
Emperor.
inherently that kind of dog. But if he made a mistake, I would stop, tell him how to be right. And he learned over time that, oh, okay, nothing bad happens.
Yep.
She gives me good information. Then we do it again and I'm right. And he
Yep.
learned to handle mistakes, right? So he learned to stop like having a nervous breakdown self-imposed because
Right.
I did not I did 2 things. One is I didn't make a big deal about it. I was like, "You're fine, don't worry about it." And then I would do something like I do tricks and feed the tricks so he'd be in a happy state, and I always gave him really good information,
Right.
right? So if it was a true mistake, right, then I would just say, "You should have done this." And I think the 2 things people go awry is, well, 3. 1, they micromanage. 2,
Yeah.
when a dog makes a mistake, they either give the dog no information, so now the dog's, like, stressed out because the dog goes, "I don't even know what just happened," or
Yep.
they're like they give the dog negative information. So now the
Right.
dog goes, "I make a mistake, that's bad."
Yep.
The dog makes a mistake, they'll say that was wrong or indicate in some way, shape, or form that a mistake occurred, but they don't tell the dog how to be right
Right.
because
Yeah.
they assume the
The dog.
dog knows. Well, if
Yep.
the dog knew, it wouldn't have done it, for God's sakes, people. Stop it. The dog didn't know. Oh,
Stop
it
it.
makes me crazy.
Stop
Just stop it. The
it.
dog didn't know. So give the dog good information in that moment,
Right.
right? So,
Right.
I tell my dog to down, dog doesn't down. I say to the dog either no, down, or if I don't say no, I say to the dog, buddy, down. You're supposed to down. That's it. There you go. You downed. Good dog. Let's try that again. Not no, or not, ugh, let's do that again. Well, what makes you think the dog's gonna down the next time? You
Right.
didn't give it any information.
Right. They're so quick. I find that like they indicate the mistake and then quickly they're like off and running. I'm like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? You need to stop
Mhm.
and tell the dog. Like they're like, oh, they don't even think about that part. Because they do. I think they just assume the dog should have known how to do it. That's
Correct.
a piece for sure. That's a thing.
It's huge. And
Huge.
I find if they actually communicate to the dog, this is what you should have done, and make sure the dog registered that, which is case in point, which is a huge point of you. What you just said is stop,
Yep.
stop, just stop, people, stop, stop. Communicate with the dog, give them good information, then the dog knows what to do and it does it right on the next thing and you can move on,
Right.
right? It's when you don't give information that the dog does a mistake again, then you get frustrated because the dog's being stupid, dog's not all the things we say, and
Well,
then
then, you gotta too, like, if you're gonna have a reoccurring mistake, it keeps happening, then you gotta be like, you gotta put your dog down and you gotta reevaluate, like, why is that mistake keep happening? Is that like something's going on? Does my dog even really know it? Did I train it well enough? So make sure that's your insanity rule Petra always fucking talks about.
Well, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, right?
Right.
That insanity has run rampant in the dog training community.
Yes, it has.
Over and I'm like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? Stop it." So I always say 2 errors in a row, change something. 2.
Yeah.
That's it, but it goes back to people not being able to count,
Right.
right? How many times did the dog just do this wrong? I'll ask them, "How many times?" 3, try 6, try 5,
Yeah.
right? 2, people, 2, 1, 2. My dog makes a mistake. I give them information, makes a mistake again. Guess what? My information wasn't good. That's it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
1, 2. No more complicated than that. Stop. Do something different. Stop saying the dog knows it, the dog should know, and on all those things you say. Stop it. The dog doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Change something. It's
Yeah.
that simple. You're making it way more complicated than it needs to be.
Right.
Right? Now you need to put on your detective hat, your problem solving hat. Why does my dog not understand it? And so on. That's a whole nother like episode. But the point being, stop, give the dog good information slowly, make sure the dog registered it, release the dog, do it again. Dog does it right, great, you gave it good information. Dog does it wrong, reevaluate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
really, all errors are on us. So stop getting annoyed with the dog. It's the dog's only doing what you trained it to do.
Exactly.
Sorry, bad news. It's our fault.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. It's so true. Um and I think we see a lot of times when the dog makes an error, the person just freezes and does nothing. That's another
Right.
one.
Yes.
They don't know, which is, I think just a confidence issue in the handler, not knowing exactly. Oh, I would actually say I always go back to what's your criteria on that behavior, right? I think that's a big one when people don't know what to do. They don't even know if it was a mistake. Let's go there. That's one. They don't really know. The dog will do something and then they'll look at me and go, "Was that right?" And I'll go, "I don't know." Right? Like, that's a big
Yep.
one. They don't know if that was the correct behavior on their dog. They're not sure because they don't know the criteria on that behavior. And that's what I'll say to them. "Well, what's your criteria on that?" "Well, I think it was good." "Well, then you don't know your criteria because it's either black or white. It's either right
Yep.
or it's wrong. There's no in between." Right? That's, I
Yep.
think, a big one that causes people to they don't even know what they're looking at because they don't know if it was a mistake because they don't know what the criteria is supposed to even be.
Right. And then you're giving your dog confusing information because sometimes you're saying it's right and sometimes you're saying it's wrong. And then the dog has no idea because you're not being clear.
Clear.
So set the criteria in your head. This is right. Everything else is wrong.
Right.
Right. And that's clear. That's fair. That's clarity, right? If you do, there's professional sports. You either kicked the goal or you didn't. It's
Right.
not like, "Oh, it came close, so you get a point." No,
Yeah.
point
But
for
that's
almost
that's
getting it in the basket.
that's typical though. They'll be like, "No, that was pretty good. Pretty good. That was pretty good." I'm like, "Pretty good, like that was correct?" "I think so." I'm like, "Well, then you don't have your criteria set. That's huge. Like,
Right.
how do you mark a mistake if you don't know if the dog even did it right or wrong?" And the poor dogs are standing there like, "Hello?"
I know, and then your information's really delayed because 'cause you're standing there of it's trying to decide. So you're standing there doing nothing, and the
Oh
dog's
god.
like, was it right or wrong?" And you're like, "I don't know. Let me think about this. Should I reward or should I tell him it's wrong?" Well, by now it's too late anyway.
I know. I'm like, "Just throw your dog a fucking cookie and tell him he's a good boy," because the poor
Yes,
dog's
so at
out
that
there
point, I'm
like
like, "Could you just
orbit.
throw him a cookie, please? Because like, what are you doing?" Or they don't know how to fix the problem. So I always say, if in that, look, it's happened to me
Yeah.
where
Yep.
something happened unexpected and I'm like, I don't even know what happened right now, or I don't even know what to do
Yeah,
with this.
in
So my
that split
default
second.
is,
Yeah, yeah.
what's your default? Good boy,
Yep,
good girl, release the dog, give him a cookie.
yep.
Cause why should they pay for me having a senior moment?
Yeah, 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 or you just don't know what to do in that second. Like,
Right.
you just need time to process on how to handle it. Just be like, "Good dog, cookie, cookie," put him away and be like, "How the fuck do I handle that?"
Right. And then figure it out and then go back and do it. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
And then you do need to develop a plan, like for this particular dog, because all dogs are different, right? This is how I'm going to handle it when my dog makes a mistake. And there are different mistakes, right? Like my dog just made a mistake, but it's a learning. So I can't really hold the dog accountable for that because the dog's still learning. It's not really an error, which is different from Zaina. If I, at this point in her career, if I turn around to look at her and she's staring at something to the right, that's a completely different error. I would handle that differently,
yes,
right?
correct, correct.
Versus a dog that's making an error because it's really nervous.
Yep,
I'm going to handle that differently. So I
yep,
need to have ahead of time a
right,
plan for, if my dog is nervous, I'm going to do X. If my dog is fully trained, not nervous, just being naughty, I'm going to do Y. If
right.
Zena is being naughty, I'm going to handle it differently than, well, I can't even say because he'll just wouldn't be naughty. But I'm going to handle it differently than perhaps a different dog, or a dog in a different stage of their learning or whatever. Dogs are rarely naughty. It's a dog that's super confident and super uber, whatever, like Zaina, who will blatantly be naughty because she really just could care less.
Right,
But that's
right.
rare. The majority of dogs really aren't even being naughty. They're just, it's just a training issue. But
Yeah.
how am I going? What is my strategy going to be so I know ahead of time? So I'm not caught standing there going, oh, shoot, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But if you're still green, and you may even have a plan and then in the moment freeze. That's okay.
Yeah.
Again, I forgive you. You are allowed as a human to make that mistake. So just say to the dog, "It's okay, buddy. I'm releasing you. I forgot. I don't remember what to do. So here, let's just we're
Yeah.
just gonna let this go right now, and don't worry about it, but don't leave the dog sitting there, because while you're indecisive, the dog reads that you're indecisive and the dog gets nervous.
Well, then they could totally interpret it as a mistake too. So you
Yeah,
got to watch that,
yeah,
because then they're gonna be like, "Oh fuck, something." When you stop and do nothing, the dogs are like, "What happened?" Like they do.
right.
They notice that. That's like a
Yeah,
mark right there. So you got
and
to
they
watch.
get worried because you're
Yeah.
supposed to be in charge theoretically, right? We're supposed to have our act together.
Right. Right.
And
Theoretically.
then they're like, "Ah." Yeah, so, yeah, so I think w you know, we make mistakes, it's no big deal. Dogs
Yeah.
make mistakes, stop making it a big deal.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
learn your dog, learn your dog. What the heck did I just say? Oh
That's because you've been
my god.
you've been talking for 4 days straight.
Really straight. Learn, who your dog is, how your dog handles things. Teach your dog to you can teach your dog to handle mistakes. You can teach your dog to be resilient.
Yeah.
It's important. And if your dog is making mistakes and learning, give them really good information. And if they don't understand, they're not being bad, they're not being obstinate, they're not dumb, they don't understand.
Yeah.
You need to change what you're doing, right? You're not being clear. Sorry. I mean, I've had dogs, like, now, I'll take Zest. How long have I been training? How many dogs have I had? I have certain things, like, where he didn't understand it, and for, like, years, I worked on it. I tried this, didn't work, tried that, didn't work, tried the other thing, didn't tried, like, a million different things before I figured out what made sense to this dog in this situation,
Right.
and all that whole time, I'm saying, "God, I know it's on me. Like, I know he just doesn't understand. I know that I am not communicating what I want, because
Right.
I know
Clearly.
that if he understood it, he would do it."
Right. Exactly. That's on us.
And the thing is, instead of taking that as a negative, like, I'm a failure, you know, it's just part of dog training. Like,
It
it's
is.
not we're not failures, we're not bad trainers. We're just humans trying to communicate with a different species that communicates differently and
Differently.
processes information and sees the world differently, and that's hard.
It's super hard. And that's true. Very true.
All right,
All right. That was good.
that's good. Thanks, everybody. Till next time.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.